What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the stoop. Back again with another one. And I'm finally made it to the back to the house. So I wanted to do this quick joint because this one is I just saw, and I gotta. It's funny how this story pops up because I've always had some insight and some opinion about this. So, uh, AKA Alpha 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 Kappa Alpha. Excuse me, I just ate. Okay, AKA the sorority, the pink and the green, had a conference in Florida, and somebody decided that it was a good idea, since it was Florida, I guess, to book Trick Daddy for their event. Now, if you know hip hop, you know Trick Daddy. Trick Daddy has some, you know, you know Trick Daddy, man, nigga, and Anyway, so Trick Daddy performs for AKA, and in the video, it shows a lot of the sorors walking out on his performance. But then you see a lot of these chicks, in the front dancing and having a good time to the to the lyrics and the performance. So Trick Daddy goes on I think Instagram. He goes live and has this whole diatribe, tirade, whatever you want to call it, about what happened. So was he right or was he wrong? There, in the first thing I did went to the comments. Now, my opinion is, unless he had a contract, if he had a contract, then if it specifies in that contract, no profanity, clean lyrics, how long you got to perform, how much time you got, so on and so forth. If that's in a contract, and he went up there and I'm Trick Daddy Dollars and I'm gonna do what I want to do, that's a breach of contract. You don't get paid. But if it was a verbal contract, meaning, hey, can you perform for me? Yeah, sure. What time I got to be there? Okay, bet. You go up there and do what he want. Nobody said what he could perform, what he couldn't perform. And watching the video, nobody told this man what to perform, what not to perform. I'm gonna tell you what it was, and I wasn't there, but I can almost guess. Somebody called him up, went down to his restaurant where he be at, and be like, "Hey, I'm an AKA. Can you perform for me at such and such, and I'll pay you such and such?" And knowing Trick, he probably said, "Yeah, all right, I'll be there." Had his team, had his whatever, and went up there and did his thing. Not realizing there's some of those older AKA sorors that, nah, they not rocking with Trick Daddy. But you got some young sorors that be like, be in the front row, girl, you know that? So it goes both ways. I think both can share blame if there's blame to be shared. Because looking at the video, it looked like a lot of them was having a good time. Well, like some of them didn't care for the language, And if you're in a sorority and you know some of these sororities, you know that there's an age. There's some young ones, and then there's the OGs. Yeah, the young ones, yeah, they rock out to Trick Daddy or hip hop or whatever the case may be. But the OGs, self-explanatory. So, what the funny part about the whole thing was, he came up with a new catchphrase: "Don't defamate my character." He said, "Don't defamate my character." I mean, don't lie on me. So basically, and I gotta rock with, I kind of gotta rock with Trick on this one. When you get Trick Daddy to perform, you this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get man nigga. You're gonna get the R-rated, the X-rated. You're gonna get the hardcore stuff. You're not gonna get Trick Love the Kids or Take It to the House. You're not gonna. You could have done that, but you're not gonna get that. Trick and went out there and did what Trick Daddy do. Now, here's where the blame gets shared. On Trick Daddy's side, like I just said, he could have done some clean versions. I mean, common sense ain't common, but you could have went up there. I know he got at least 10 songs that's clean that he could have done. 30-minute set, get your money and be out, okay? But he didn't do that. He went up there and got raunchy for them ladies. That's what, hey, according to the video, some of them was rocking with that. But again, a majority of them wasn't. The AKA, they share the blame because first of all, you gotta know who you're getting, first of all. And whatever you discussed with him, clearly you didn't put on paper because he went up there and did his thing. So the blame goes both ways, but I'm rocking with Trick. When you get me, this is what you're gonna get. Unless you put on paper, okay, and the first thing he said, I ain't no DJ. This ain't your wedding. I'm like, I don't agree with that one because, come on, dog. If somebody calls you to perform, you gotta read the room. You gotta know your audience, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of, if it were me, I'd be like, okay, who am I performing for? AKAs, okay. What are the age groups? What am I doing radio or am I doing straight records? You kind of ask these questions, then you can kind of get an idea, and then out there look at the crowd. Okay, I got some young chicks, I got the OGs in the back. Okay, I'm gonna keep it clean, but I'm gonna put a little, you gotta use. And I don't think Trick did that too much. I think Trick saw the opportunity to perform for sea of beautiful black women. Don't get me wrong. I've seen AKAs. Yeah. I mean, nothing but black women. So, and Florida too. Come on, son. So yeah, I see where Trick went. Trick went there. But I thought it was a funny video. Trick said, "Don't defamate my character." I said, "That's the new phrase." That's the new phrase. But I thought it was funny. That's gonna be the new phrase. Don't defamate my character. So, but yeah, and he said AKA gang. So that right there is what had me. Because I have said this for the longest time. Sororities and fraternities are nothing but gangs. I said it. There's no difference in Bloods and Crips with AKAs, Me Phi Me's, Delta Phi Sigmas, Sigma Gamma Rhos, Alpha Phi Alpha, Moose, nothing. Musai Mu, all that. There's no difference. They're all gangs. The difference between a sorority and a fraternity versus a gang is I think a sorority and a fraternity are more organized than say a Blood and Crip. Sororities and fraternities do more community-based work. Bloods and Crips, they're pretty much leeching off their community. I said it. I ain't never seen Bloods and Crips do anything in the community other than destroy the community further. They all rep colors, they all rep labels, they all got handshakes and secret this, and they have a hierarchy. They're both the same. They're both, please debate me, they're both the same. A Crip and a Blood ain't no different than a Gamma Phi Gamma or AKA, or they no different. There's a little bit of history supposedly behind a sorority and a fraternity, but there's history in a Blood and a Crip. If you go back far enough, or how the Bloods and Crips got started. I don't see much of a difference. So yeah, when the AKA went to Trick Daddy gave him Trick Daddy. Because it's a gang to him. Yeah, he said it. He said it, AKA gang, whatever. And I was like, he know the deal. He know the deal. And the deal is, there's no difference. There's no difference between a blood and a soror. There's no difference between a frat and a crip. Ain't no different. Debate me, please. Please debate me. But I had to throw that one out there. Because I saw the video, I said, yo, I got to tell. So I got to get online with this one. I got to get on camera with this one. But let me know your thoughts. Please hit those comments up. Watch them music videos by Sincere because they hot, I have to admit. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.